Hello. So someone had made a comment say I was missing the sun. And so I decided to put a little bit of sun in the background. It's not a jab at the person. I appreciate what they're saying, and I will definitely get in contact with them. So today, I think I want to talk about the journey, the beginnings of the journey of figuring out how to fix your guts, right? Because this whole thing is about people dealing with gastrointestinal issues. With me, I've had microscopic colitis and dealing with that, and so let's talk about how do you tackle it. So the first thing that you need to know is that this is going to be a long trip. It's not a quick one. You're going to be dealing with it for a very long time. So if someone's diagnosed you with a gastrointestinal problem, even though, yes, there are great stories of triumph, you have to understand that the people who triumphed worked very, very hard to get to that place, and that they worked very, very hard for a very long time. My GI specialist told me, this is going to take a while. It could take some years. And here I am, 6 months in. 6 months in to say, he's not kidding. This has taken a long time to get to a place where I have some sort of control. And you've got to wrap your mind around that, or you're going to go crazy. I remember in the beginning, I always used to nickname myself Superman or Wolverine, because I always had a way of getting back to normal no matter whatever happened to me. I've had surgeries where I've healed from them faster than I should have. I've had injuries where I've healed faster. I've been ill, and I never stay sick as long as everyone else does. So I've always been able to do that. So I just figured, hey, I'll beat this. And then 3 months went by, and I was still, health-wise, horrible. I was still uncomfortable, in pain. I was still needing to be very close to a restroom. And that was causing me some mental stuff. The mental stuff is basically it's depression and anxiety. You get afraid to walk out of the house. You're afraid to leave the house or go anywhere. You just want to stay and be sad and in pain. Especially when you're doing all the stuff your docs tell you to do, but the changes aren't there. For someone who goes to the bathroom 11 times a day, well, if it goes down to 9 times a day and it took 3 months to get there, you know what? It's still pretty rough. And it can cause cause you to be depressed. It can cause you to be upset, full of anxiety, anger, sadness. You can go in distress, where you don't feel like there's anything that can help you. And that happened to me. I reached a point where, my girlfriend would say, I'm never leaving you. I'm going to be here for you, but you've got to get out of this thing that you're in. You got to beat this. Because I wasn't being a very good man for her. I, was giving up on everything. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to talk to her. I just wanted to be left alone. And, I realized that I've got to get out of that. It took about a month for me to get out of it to a place where it was noticeable that I had put the work in and the time in to get myself mentally back into the swing of things. And after you do that, it's time to go to work, man. The first thing you want to worry about and think about is your diet. I know people who have these issues and they don't want to change their diet and the issues remain. Well, that's not going to work out. Here's a way that I can explain stomach issues and gastrointestinal problems. Let's say you injure a shoulder. right? You injure your shoulder, your rotator cuff, whatever you want to call it. And the doctor says you got to take it easy. Work it, but go easy. Don't put it under any strain or stress. Be calm with it so that it can heal. It's the same thing you do with your stomach. You don't put things in your stomach that are going to cause it stress. You take it easy on it so that it can heal and get better. And what do I mean by heal and get better? What causes stress? Well, spicy foods cause stress to your stomach. I don't care who you are, it causes stress. A healthy stomach can handle it and deal with it just fine, but an unhealthy stomach, it can't. The same way lifting a certain amount of weights when you're working out can cause a stress to the muscles, but a healthy muscle can handle it. But a injured muscle can't. It's the same thing. So you want to take it easy on it. Alcohol does the same thing. A lot of fatty foods. And then those things that a lot of people have some intolerances to. So dairy and gluten and sugars. Those things, even raw vegetables, because the body has to work very hard to break them down. These things cause stress on the system, and you need to kind of back off on them for a little while. Not forever, but for a little while. And yes, it does feel like forever at first. The first 3 or 4 months of me eating just chicken and white rice was mind-numbing. It really was. Finding gluten-free breads and laying off the sugar. Byproduct of that is, well, one, you're going to lose a lot of weight. You're losing weight already because your body is not digesting food properly. Then you're going to lose even more weight when you're eating super, super healthy, because now you're not putting any sugar or fats or anything like that in your body. You're going to start losing more weight. As you get healthier, your body can start processing food correctly, and the weight loss won't fall off anymore, and then you can start managing it better and reintroducing things into your diet. But it takes time. You have to listen to your body. There are things that you probably used to eat, and you go back to eat it again, and you're like, I can't eat this. I love eggs. I used to eat eggs all the time. I love soft-boiled eggs. And then during this illness, as it was getting worse and worse, soft-boiled eggs made me so sick I couldn't eat them. And so I had to take them off the diet for a while. I still haven't put them back in the diet yet. But there are other things I've brought back into it. Eventually raw vegetables is going to become another one. I haven't had a good salad in quite a while. I do miss it. But the diet, that's a big thing. You need to work on that. Once you figure out the diet and work on that, then you can move on to other things. Medications. Take your medicine. Doctor's going to prescribe you medicine. Especially if it's a GI doctor, they'll prescribe you some medicine and help you keep things under control. Some people hate medicine. I do too. But take it. Take your medicine to help you, to help your body, to get some of your life back, to get some of that confidence to go out without worry back. And then slowly but surely, after months of being on, you can start weaning yourself off. I was up to taking this one medication, it's called dental, dicyclamine, 4 times a day. I'm down now to taking it 2 times a day. And sometimes 1 time a day. But I've been taking it for, 6 months? For the 7th month. So, take your medicine. That's the other thing you could do. Find some supplements that work for you. I did a lot of research. I looked online. I talked to my doctor. There's different things out there that can help you, different supplements. I take a digestive enzyme right now called Digest Gold. I would take IB Guard, which was a peppermint oil pill. I take L-glutamine powder to help rebuild and repair my intestinal tract, my digestive system. I take B12s, and I take a multivitamin, and then I take my Bentyl. I've also been prescribed this stuff called Protonix, pantoprazole, in order to help with acid in my esophagus. And so I take those things. I take them in moderation. I take them in a healthy way. And I'm always trying to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to do, that they're necessary. And sometimes you have to experiment and go off of the medicine as well. So these are some things that you can do. And keep a good outlook and go out. Don't stay in the house. If you notice that you can stay in the house and you're in the house for 9 hours and nothing's going on, try going out. I started going out with 1 hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours, here and there. You know, my girlfriend was very patient with me. Now I can go out for about 5 hours with no problem. 8 hours sometimes. 8 hours, I get a little nervous, I get worried. But, you know, good 5 hours, I can go out and do that. I can go to a movie, you know. But so you get out, go out, even if it's just 30 minutes at a time at first, and stay out longer and longer and longer. Some of it's in your mind. Some of it is. And when you start to freak out and panic, it gets all the juices flowing in your entire body, including the ones dealing with your intestines and your colon and the restroom. So they're going to overreact too, and then that's going to cause an issue. So you've got to stay calm. You've got to get comfortable being out. Okay? So I just wanted to give some of those tips, that this is where you start. When you start having these issues, when you first get the diagnosis, this is where you start. Start with the diet. Start with your diet. Look up some FODMAP stuff. Okay? Look up the brat diet. Things of that nature. Think about keeping the stress out of your guts. Be calm. Be gentle to your stomach for a while. And it could be a long while. And then still go out and take your medicines. Take your medicines. Experiment with weaning yourself off after a while, but when you notice your body's not responding very well, you may need to go back to where you were. So that's what I've got for you today. And of course I'll be back again to talk more and tell you about my journey and what you can do. Comment if you'd like, and get in contact with me if you need to. Alright? There's someone else out there that's dealing with the same thing. I've been there. I've heard other people's stories and said, yeah, well, that was you. You're the lucky one. But I don't think there's any luck involved, because I worked hard and I'm in not the perfect place, but I feel like I'm on the right track. And that's huge for me. All right, so thank you very much for listening, and talk to you guys again soon.